you starting?
You're going to start. Hey, it's good to see you. Good to see you again. Like that. Okay.
You're big enough, I'm not going to tell you. You just look like you might be.
One more.
Hey, this is not a revival.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. You may take your other one.
Are they identical?
Yeah.
Hey, could I ask everybody to kind of come in a little closer? Let's act like we like each other.
Oh, no, let's go over here.
All right.
Is this how you want to serve?
Hey, what a great crowd. It's great to see everybody out here today on a beautiful day. I am Ed Hassinger. I am the Deputy Director and Chief Engineer for MoDOT. And it is a great honor for me to stand alongside our Governor, our Lieutenant Governor, Senator Huff, and all of our elected officials on this momentous day. So we are here today to sign the state budget bill that designates $2.8 billion, that's $2.8 billion with a B, to improve I-70 across 200 miles of the state of Missouri. I want to recognize some of our elected officials today that are here. State Representative Sherry Tolson Rice, State Representative Tim Taylor, State Rep Kent Hayden, State Rep Curtis Gregory, and the Mayor of Columbia, Barbara Buffalo. Thank you all for being here. I think it's important to note that the first ever interstate project in the country broke ground on August 13th, 67 years ago. So right here in Missouri, the first ever project built on the interstate system happened in our state. And so today we are here to do the next evolution of the interstate. That was a generational change for our country. This is going to be a generational change that we are making here today with the announcement of the signing of this budget bill. So we are really proud to be working with a great team at MoDOT and a team of our partners across all the industries of construction and design, and we're working to figure out the best way to deliver this project and to give us the best value for the taxpayers of Missouri. So I want to just kind of read off to you what are the goals of the I-70 project. We're going to provide a third lane of travel eastbound and westbound on Interstate 70 from Blue Springs to Wentzville. We're going to improve the interstate while modernizing the existing pavement and bridges through innovation. We're going to increase the efficiency of freight movement on I-70. You might see a few trucks going by here as we go through this ceremony today. And we're going to make sure we do this in a way during construction that we don't inconvenience people to the greatest extent possible. Also, this is a workforce opportunity, and we're going to develop a diverse workforce as we deliver this project and create jobs across the entire state. As soon as we get done with these ceremonies, we are going to start a series of public meetings across the state. So starting on August 28th through September 7th, we're going to have a series of 7 public meetings across the entire state to talk more about what we intend to do on I-70. And with that, I would like to introduce our program director that's going to lead that effort. Eric Kopinski where is Eric? Eric is over here. He is the guy that's going to lead this effort for MoDOT. He's got a small and mighty team that is with him, and along with him and our industry partners, we are going to deliver a great product for Missourians. So with that, I want to introduce one of our industry partners. Kevin Wallace is with HNTB Corporation, and Kevin is the vice president of the corporation. He's the transportation group leader, and they are an engineering firm that's been headquartered in Missouri for over 100 years. So Kevin, if you'd come up and make a few remarks.
Thanks, Mr. Hassinger. Good afternoon, everybody. I mean, this is exciting to be here, isn't it? I'm so honored and proud to be part of this celebration today. That's really been 67 years in the making. When I-70 was started 67 years ago, it was hailed as one of the great public works projects of its time. And really, when President Eisenhower was talking about the creation of the interstate system, he said, and I quote, "Its impact on the American economy, the jobs it would produce in manufacturing and construction, the rural areas it would open up, was beyond calculation." And today we get to continue and build upon that legacy. And I would like to thank Governor Parson and Senator Lincoln Huff for having the vision to understand the impact that improving the capacity of the state's primary artery would have on the state of Missouri. I-70 serves 70% of Missouri's population. It carries 5 billion tons of agricultural product across the state, and it generates $6 billion in economic activity for the state of Missouri. And this investment will allow the people of Missouri to compete and thrive, not just nationally, but globally. It will support and create thousands of jobs, not just for construction and engineering, but in restaurants and hotels and the other industries that will support this work over the next several years. It will improve the movement of goods and services across the state, and it will continue to improve safety in the corridor and encourage additional economic investment in the state of Missouri. So on behalf of the American Council of Engineering Companies of Missouri, I would like to express my gratitude to the Missouri legislature, who overwhelmingly voted in support of this project and expanded upon the governor's plan for I-70. And finally, Governor Parson, Senator Huff, I would like to congratulate you and thank you for your leadership that led Missouri to making this transformative investment that the business community has been advocating for well over a decade. Your vision and your courage will keep Missouri's infrastructure safe and efficient for Missouri residents and all of Missouri businesses to remain competitive and thrive in the global economy. And on a personal note, as somebody who lives in Kansas City, whose mother lives in Boonville, Missouri, and who frequently makes trips to St. Louis to work with our office on that side of the state, I can tell you this project cannot be completed fast enough. So I just want to thank you for your leadership.
Thanks, Kevin. So now I have the privilege to introduce a true leader in our Missouri State Senate, Senator Lincoln Huff from the 30th District. Senator Huff has served as a leader in the Transportation Committee and currently is the Senate Appropriations Chair. And I can tell you, without his leadership, we would not be where we are today. When Senator Huff said, "Hey, why don't we just do the whole thing?" everybody took a deep breath, and then we all said, "Well, yeah, I think we can do that." So, Senator Huff.
So it is, thank you. It is my pleasure to stand here with you all today, with my colleagues from the House and the Senate, the Lieutenant Governor, the Governor, industry leaders, association members, the folks who are actually going to be turning the shovels and running the dozers and making this happen. Folks, this is what your state government should be doing. This is what bipartisan solutions for our state looks like. When you put politics aside and you get away from all the little rock throwing and the insults and things like that, these are the kinds of projects that we can put together and we can deliver for the 6.5 million people that call Missouri home and everyone that travels through this state. I cannot stress enough that while I'm standing here and I appreciate Ed's comments and Kevin, the transformative nature of this project, this doesn't happen with me. And no offense, Governor, but it doesn't just happen with you. It happens when your legislature comes together, works with industry partners, and puts a plan together that we can all get behind. And so I can't give enough thanks to everyone that's standing over here and the members that aren't here with us today that supported this, that worked with us when we said let's put this whole project together, the staff that works behind the scenes that gets the detail work done. This is what makes me proud to serve the people of Springfield and put projects like this in front of our communities to keep moving Missouri forward. It's my pleasure to be here. Folks, this is going to be very good, transformative. You heard generational change. These are the things that I want to be a part of, and I very much appreciate the participation of all of our colleagues today. Thank you.
So I got to know our next speaker about 20 years ago. The lieutenant governor was appointed to the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission about 20 years ago. And so he became one of the leaders of our organization and really mentored me on a lot of things and taught me a lot of things that I still use today. So I am thrilled to introduce the Lieutenant Governor, Mike Kehoe.
Well, thank you, Ed. It is great to be here today on a day that most of the people standing in this audience that I've seen in the transportation industry and stakeholders thought would never happen. And you've heard all of the words about generational, transformational, all the things that I-70 6-lane is going to be. But I would say it took leadership and somebody who's able to govern to be able to put this project together. As you heard Senator Huff say, you know, sometimes even though you hear on the news and maybe in the newspaper about all the infighting and things that happens at the Capitol, there's always people trying to work to make a difference. Governor Parson started the conversation when he gave his State of the State address and said, we need to fix I-70. The House and Senate worked together to come up with this plan. I always say Senator Thomas and her Chief of Staff Lincoln figured this out. For those of you who don't know who runs Lincoln's life, it's Pat Thomas. Just let me tell you that right now. But they got together with people like Jeff Glenn and Morgan Patterson and stakeholders in the transportation industry and said, how do we take Governor Parson's idea and just get this whole thing done? And without the House and Senate members' leadership and people understanding how important this is to our state, this would never happen. And the most exciting thing about 70, as Ed said, we've been talking about this for 20 years to all my friends here with MoDOT, and I know many of you, is that if you're going to continue to have our top salesmen run around this United States and the globe and tell people about what a great place Missouri is to do business, you're going to have the transportation and infrastructure system to back those words up. And so, Governor, we're giving you a new tool in the toolbox now to sell more things to Missouri and bring more jobs here. And I know that this will be the economic boost that catapults us into the next century like no other project could ever do. So thank you for everybody who made it happen at the Capitol. Thank you for the stakeholders who were there every day for us, making sure people knew how important this project was. It's fantastic, and quite frankly, I can't wait for it to get done. So thank you so much.
So I go back to when the governor was first appointed to office, and it was maybe a couple weeks after he was appointed that I was at an event, and he said, I'm going to focus on workforce and infrastructure. And I can tell you, you know, words are great, but he has followed through on that every year, year in, year out. And I just want to highlight a couple of things. So the governor's focus on bridge program was put into place, and now we have 235 bridges that are open to traffic, and all the rest of them are under contract and will be done by the end of the year. On the heels of that, he put in place the governor's transportation cost share program, Phase 1 and Phase 2, and a lot of those programs are underway and projects are being completed and developed across this entire state. And then there was the governor's rural roads program, $100 million to improve our rural roads across the state of Missouri. I can tell you in June of this year, we completed the first $100 million of that, and we are letting the next $100 million to be done next year. So with that as the prelude, now we talk about the $2.8 billion to rebuild I-70 across the state that would not have happened without our governor's leadership. And so it is just truly my pleasure to introduce to you the 57th governor of the state of Missouri, Mike Parson.
Man, thanks everybody for being here. What a crowd we got here today. Man, that's pretty cool. And a great backdrop, I might add. The old version of I-70 is what you're looking at right there. We're looking for the new one. I know there's some representatives coming a little late and you didn't get introduced. So if you were one that didn't get introduced, would you just raise your hand so the crowd knows you're here? I know some of you are ways there. All right. And Mayor, always good to be in Columbia. Always good to be here. I know the mayor says, hey, you need to come here more often. I said, my gosh, I'm up here all the time. She doesn't know I'm looking for a job here in the near future, so she better be careful what she wishes for on that. Hey, 5 years ago when I became the governor of this state, a little over 5 years ago, as Ed said, we focused on workforce development infrastructure. Neither one of those are political issues. They truly are not. It's just how do you make the state better for the next generations is why we picked those two things and we stayed with them. I think one of the other speakers was up here. When I go overseas and when I try to recruit businesses here, as Columbia has been the recipient of many of those trips that you've expanded here, it's because you just can't say you're doing something. You got to be doing something when it comes to infrastructure and workforce development. And I-70 is a game changer for this state. It just really is. I mean, when you look at the state that we are, we have the opportunity to set the pace for the rest of the country by doing I-70 right here in Missouri. I will tell you the economic factor will be second to none. You will see new businesses come up on I-70 that you haven't seen before. You'll have new overpasses, new opportunities that you'll be able to have. But one thing that we don't ever want to forget either, it's going to be much safer to travel. And I think when you look at who we are in this state, we got to make sure we take care of the citizens. And when they do come here and they do spend the money, that we can protect them while they're here, which means they can drive up and down these roads safely. But to be able to part of this will be something in history. 67 years ago this started. I'm going to tell you, you get to reset the clock. And we're going to talk about 50 years from now, you're going to talk about when this went to 3 lanes and what an impact it had on the state of Missouri. So it's an exciting time. I want to thank Lincoln. He spoke earlier. You know, when I first said I wanted to start the I-70 project, I got to tell you, I was kind of putting it in pieces, thinking if I could get that done, somebody's going to connect the dots. So for all of you that may like to gamble a little bit, Lincoln just put all the chips on the table and said, this is what we're going to do. So the next thing we know, we got $2.8 billion. I want to thank the legislators. It's not always easy to make those kind of votes for some. But I'm telling you, it's a perfect example when we put the state of Missouri before all politics. And that really makes the difference. And I think you're going to get to reap the benefits of that, and for our state and for the changes that are going to be made. So it's going to be a great opportunity for us. I want to thank all of you for coming, showing your support for it. I want to thank everybody that was involved in this. I want to thank MoDOT. And I really want to thank the MoDOT workers that always are in the background while all the brass is up here. We get to talk about it. But I want to thank you for what you do every day out there. And I really like it when them shirts are a little dirty, to be right honest about it. So I'd have you up on front row all the time. And Eric, you're done with this political stuff. You're going to work, son. We don't need you here anymore. We need to put you in the office and get to work and build this I-70. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Always great to be in Columbia. God bless. And always, as always, I'm proud to be the 57th governor of the great state of Missouri. Thank you all for being here. Come on over here, legislators.
I miss my partner in Jeff City. I miss Mayor Churches. Getting together with her all the time.
This is a big boost for Columbia.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Governor, I almost said you were the best second best. Well, it's kind of nice.
I mean, I'm just saying.
All right, there you go, everyone. They can all lift your hands together.
So you're going back to Kansas City and then to Sedalia tomorrow?
No, I'm gonna stay overnight and then leave out of here and head to. You know I try to be everywhere.
I'm actually going to Jeff City tonight and then Fort Leonard Wood in the morning.
Okay.
Then Sedalia. So.
If you don't happen to get one today, we'll make sure you get one yourself.
created a hospital where all this takes place.
Reverend James Gray is saying hi to
No, and I'm glad. Every step of the way, safety was top of it. That's good.
the sign on
Stepping in, kind of like rovers out and get the moat out workers in here. Real good.
Right, I'm gonna come this way. It's good to officially meet you. I really did appreciate your words you said at the MML Yeah.
Come on in here.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah. I was just watching the autograph session.
I didn't even see the shadow. I didn't see you sneak up
Right,
back there. I'm
yeah.
like, what is she talking? Who's she talking to?
He's down. You
doing all right?
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Get a new employee tomorrow.
Are you?
Adding to my
How many is that many?
There's 13. Well, he will be 13. There's 12 of us right now.
We need to get you to 20.
That would be great.
Because by the time we need
20, 26 in times past, you know. 24, yeah. Well,
to 25.
yeah. That'd be awesome.
We got you.
The guy needs one fire.